Good evening, everybody. It's Sunday night, and we are ready for another wonderful episode of voice acting. And now, let's introduce your hosts, the Cannonball, the Cannon, the Steel Twins. What's up, everybody? It is Sunday night, and you know what that means.
It's voice acting night, baby.
I gotta get my good side here. Thank you so much for joining us once again. It's a bit of a late start here as, work schedules and stuff, but we could not be more excited to bring you this episode of voice acting. I did a little scouting, just so you were aware. Just sit tight, kids. Stuff's about to get real interesting. Obviously, I'm just going to go ahead and really quickly shout out all of our, stuff. You know, the Nostalgic Mondays, the Metroid Prime Sundays. I haven't been streaming lately, which it's kind of unfortunate. But Super Mario Fridays has been a raucous good time, roaring on without any interruptions. And we had a nice little clip moment during this past Friday, have we not?
Yes, we have. In fact, check out the clip. Literally, Bernadette says, "You fart too much." And we couldn't help but bust a gut laughing.
Listen, it caught me off guard. I started laughing uncontrollably, and we had to make that part of we had to make that part of the show. So, but. That was here. That is this. Oh my God. This is Tyrion Cuthbert. This is our attorney of the Arcane, and we are here for the flagship show, voice acting. And I know we want to get things going as quickly as we can here because it's getting kind of late. And old Cannonball needs some rest here in a minute. But before we do that, I think it's about time for our second favorite part of the show. You guys know the drill. If you have a cap to your bottle or a pin on your can, you go ahead and pull that pin back or twist that cap off.
With a twist.
Hey, Cannon. What time is it?
It's time to get bombed.
Cheers, everybody.
Cheers.
A big sweaty glass. It was full of sweat.
Ghost orange cream. Can't go wrong with that.
No, sir. So, without any further ado, live scene.
Without further ado.
Hey, you. So, okay. New game. So I have to click and drag. It's so weird. Okay, here we go. It is time for episode 4, and I will say the name in just a moment.
Good news. The check cleared. It's go time. Up until now, we've been following the story of Tyrion Cuthbert. We've experienced the world through his eyes and fought for justice through his soul. But this time, why don't we start from the perspective of another?
Episode 4, Severed Ties. Quite literally. What do you mean by that? Stay tuned.
I can't believe Cuthbert read the client's mind without asking. It's starting to become a problem. He's becoming more and more reckless with each passing year. I wish Frey was still alive. She would know what to do. She made it look so effortless, and he loved her. Would you have listened to her if she was still here?
Is something the matter, Tymora?
No, I was just thinking about something.
Well, the trial is about to begin. I don't doubt your abilities, but I'd still appreciate it if you remained focused. All of our futures are at stake, after all.
Of course, Miss Frega.
Name? Beatrice Frega, occupation freelancer.
The heck is that supposed to mean?
Beatrice takes in a deep breath before she claps her hands together.
She did. Yeah, I was doing the face smoosh from Great Ace Attorney Chronicles. Anyway.
Right, I remember that. What's wrong?
Nothing. It's just the ritual that I use to calm myself.
Right. I'd almost forgotten about that. But more importantly, what are you doing here?
What indeed?
My father sent me to guide Beatrice to the courthouse. It's a new environment for her, and we were both worried about her condition.
I still can't believe you were the boss's daughter this entire time.
What?
What?
Wait a minute. So hang on a second. First of all, we found out she was the boss's daughter at the end of the last episode. How the heck does Ruby Tymora know about the boss's daughter? What?
Something's fishy here.
Hey. Yo, Athena, will you smell that?
I smell plot with a capital P-U.
Indeed, this stinks. Really stinks.
Why didn't you say anything at the academy?
Oh? Knowing my true identity would have caused friction with your son, wouldn't it?
He's not my... Anyways, I suppose I understand why you stayed quiet. But I still don't appreciate being kept in the dark about this.
Oh, speak of the devil.
You spot Cuthbert and McCoy walking into the courtroom with the other members of the gallery. McCoy spots you and gives a friendly yet awkward smile. However, Cuthbert ignores you entirely and walks silently into the courtroom.
Parental troubles?
We had an argument earlier. It's nothing to worry about.
If you say so.
You are worried about what we...
I am worried about what he saw in Beatrice's mind, though. He's always been a good kid, but his idealistic sense of justice clouds his judgment sometimes. I just hope that he's not planning to do anything reckless.
The trial is about to begin. Do you really have the time to be making small talk here?
Prosecutor Steelwind approaches the three of you. But she appears to be accompanied by someone else.
Wallace Nightgrave.
Huh? What's he doing here?
Nightgrave, is that you? What are you doing here?
Well...
He's accompanying me as my aide for this case.
I see. So I assume you'll be prosecuting?
Of course. I would never pass up the opportunity to face the infamous Ruby Tymora.
Really? If I recall correctly, you haven't even beaten Tyrion once so far.
Burn.
Miss Steelwind, don't strain yourself.
What's that look for, Beatrice? You almost look surprised to see me here. Considering the circumstances, I thought you might recuse yourself. I am more than capable of being objective, especially for a case of this much importance. Well, I hope your mind is as strong as you think it is.
Miss Steelwind, please calm down.
Oh, how I love a good reunion.
Oh man, this is getting really weird.
All rise.
Court is now in session for the trial of Beatrice Frega. Ms. Steelwind, is the prosecution ready? Ms. Steelwind?
Oh, of course. The prosecution is ready, Your Honor.
The defense is also ready, Your Honor. Something seems off about her today. Is her personal attachment to this case distracting her?
Very well. Let's begin the proceedings. Prosecutor Steelwind, could you please list the charges?
Your Honor, the defendant is charged with first-degree murder and grand theft. As many of you know, Beatrice Frega is the formerly missing daughter of the now-late William Frega. And the victim of the murder is William Frega himself.
Oh, shit. Yeah,
God!
Yeah, so we're dealing with patricide, it seems. Yes, I'm well aware of that. The people of Wivengard will certainly mourn the loss of House Frega's head.
Please. The only people mourning him are the banking house shareholders.
But anyways, did you also say that the defendant is accused of grand theft?
Yes, Your Honor. The crimes took place during the Lord's Ball, an event that was hosted in Frega Manor yesterday evening. The Haraldson Hall of History had a gallery display within the manor. They were showcasing several magical artifacts donated to the Wivengard Historical Society. One of these items was the Sword of Spell Eating, a magical artifact that allows its wielder to nullify magical effects.
Sword of Spell Eating has been entered into the court record.
The Sword of Spell Eating is an ancient artifact. When wielded by a creature, that creature and anything connected to them, physically or magically, are immune to all harmful magical effects. Legends say that it was forged through a blood contract between a mage and a demon. Yikes.
We, the prosecution, believe that the defendant stole this item. She then used it to nullify the magical lock on the victim's study. After breaking into the study, she attacked the victim and slashed his throat open using a letter opener.
Ugh, grisly.
Ugh.
He died of blood loss shortly after.
William Frega's autopsy report has been entered into the court record.
Died at 3:12 a.m. Cause of death was blood loss after his throat was slashed open. Both carotid arteries were severed, meaning that death must have followed mere seconds after the wound was inflicted. Body shows several scratch marks on the face and back. Traces of illusion magic were also found on the body.
Oh boy.
I see. But what possible motive would the defendant have to murder her own father?
William Frega and his daughter were not close. Saying that they had a strained relationship would be an understatement. In fact, 5 years prior to the murder, Beatrice abandoned and fled her home. She went into hiding and did not contact any of her friends or family. Her whereabouts were unknown, until she suddenly contacted her father a week ago.
My client left the Frega household because of a toxic relationship with her father. She wanted to create a life for herself that was free from his influence and abuse.
I won't disagree with your claims, but that just highlights how desperate the defendant must have been. She had clearly fallen on hard times and begrudgingly contacted her father for financial aid. I can't possibly understand why they would schedule this meeting during the Lord's Ball. But nevertheless, several witnesses did see her that night. And these same witnesses saw her storming out of her father's study in anger. Her father must have refused her request for gold, so she decided to murder him to claim his inheritance. Luckily, we've prepared for this in advance.
Yes, they're playing right into our hands.
William Frega's inheritance has been entered into the court record.
Beatrice Frega fled from her family 5 years ago and went into hiding. In retaliation, William Frega told Miriam Frega that he would remove Beatrice from his will. As a result, she wouldn't receive any inheritance after his death. As per your agreement, this testimony will be confirmed by Miriam Frega in court.
What you're saying is all conjecture, Steelwind. You don't have any evidence or testimony that confirms what they spoke about.
Yes, I'm well aware that you and your client have refused to tell us what was discussed during that meeting. But as long as you both stay silent, my claims are plausible.
Be honest, Steelwind. Do you seriously think that my client committed these crimes in spite of her condition?
Condition? What do you mean by that, Miss Tymora?
Why don't you tell him, Steelwind? Tell the court about my client's disability.
Your Honor, Beatrice Frega is considered legally disabled. However...
Legally disabled? That's a convenient way of putting it, Steelwind. My client isn't just legally disabled. She's completely blind.
Whoa, whoa, whoa,
What?
What? It's kind of hard to do something when you can't see. Completely blind? Is this true?
We have several medical documents and testimony from several surgeons attesting to that fact.
Chirurgeons, I guess, but I mean, I saw that word and I was like, what the hell is that? Magical surgeons.
My client is unable to see anything.
Beatrice's blindness has been entered into the court record.
Beatrice Frega is completely blind. She is unable to see anything through her eyes. This has been verified through several medical reports and qualified chirurgeons. What is the meaning of this, Miss Steelwind? Do you expect me to believe that a blind woman performed any of the acts you're accusing her of?
I'm glad you also see how ridiculous these claims are, Your Honor.
If the court would just let me elaborate...
Steelwind, the prosecution's first charge is grand theft. My client would have needed to break into a magically secured display case. Performing such an act would be a difficult task for anyone, much less my client. And the second charge is first-degree murder. My client would have needed to use a sort of spell eating on the lock leading to the victim's study. Then she would have needed to grab a letter opener, overpower the victim, and deliver a precise and fatal blow to the victim's neck. Does any of that sound like a reasonable theory, Your Honor?
I'm compelled to agree with you, Ms. Tymora. It all sounds quite ludicrous, to be perfectly honest. This is just
awful. This is just awful.
Still one's a
Steelwind's
critical.
claiming his attack and Frega's none of their head is deceased.
Objection!
Objection! Enough! Your Honor, the court has not seen the evidence that supports this case. Nor have you listened to the Inquisition's testimony regarding their investigation. Until you have done so, you are in no position to pass judgment.
Very well, Miss Steelwind. I suppose you have a point.
Guess the young lady has some claws after all. But it doesn't matter. The case against Beatrice is questionable at best. Frankly, it's surprising that Steelwind even went through with this. It's only a matter of time before the judge sees things my way.
To begin, the prosecution would like to call Commander Aura White to the stand.
Oh boy, here we go.
Commander White, please testify to the court about the Inquisition's findings.
Right. All right, time for the witness testimony. We didn't want to cause panic after the sword was stolen, so we activated the main manor's silent security system and put an anti-magic field over the entire manor. We did a search of the house, and we found the stolen sword in the defendant's bedroom. It didn't look like she was going to run, and Crown Prince Aster told us to stand down, so we just kept a close eye on her.
Interesting.
William Frega was in a bad mood that night, so he had already locked himself inside his study. But an hour later, we entered the study and found him lying dead in a pool of blood. The lock was still engaged, and no one teleported in. The perp must have temporarily disabled the lock using a sort of spell eating. We have testimonies that say the defendant was seriously in debt. She must have murdered the victim to get a part of his inheritance. More on that inheritance thing.
That case against Beatrice is just as I predicted. And I already have a countermeasure to disprove the existence of any motive. All I have to do is present that to the court.
All right, I already know what to present, but where should I press instead?
No, I don't think so.
Part of me wants to press him on this because for the story. Why did he say that?
Hold it. And why would the prince tell you to stand down, Orem?
Well,
Crown Prince Asta knew the defendant well. He was confident that she wasn't going to flee the scene.
Are you sure he just knew her well? If I recall correctly, the prince is still very adamant about her innocence.
The Crown Prince is vouching for the defendant? Is this true, Miss Steelwind?
It is. However, I believe that the evidence found throughout the investigation proves the contrary.
Are you sure your judgment isn't simply being clouded by your jealousy? Your fiancé was previously engaged to my client, after all.
Oh, deep digs.
You're enjoying this a bit too much.
all right, so
Yeah, so I know what I need to do. So the lock was still engaged. The perp must have temporarily disabled the lock. We have testimony saying the defendant was seriously in debt. She must have murdered the victim to get a part of his inheritance. No, that's wrong. This is where we're going to put in Miriam's testimony. This is the strategy of the case. So,
Objection!
Objection! Your Honor, the prosecution's case against my client is riddled with holes. And the prosecution's proposed motive is the largest among them.
what do you mean, Ms. Tymora? Of all the elements in this case, the motive is the most believable. Your client would have had much to gain through her father's inheritance.
That may be. But that's assuming my client had anything to inherit at all.
What?
Your Honor, my client fled from a psychologically abusive father 5 years ago. How do you think he would have reacted to that? Lord Frega was a petty and vindictive man.
Gotta hydrate.
Yeah, sure. Do you honestly think that he'd leave his inheritance to someone who disobeyed him so egregiously? No, he'd do everything in his power to make sure she didn't see a shred of his wealth.
Yes, we're already well aware of this.
the moment she slams her cane down, you notice the prosecutor wince a little. But she quickly hides it and regains her composure.
Something's
Fishy going on
something
here.
ain't right. Just keep an eye on it.
On the night of the murder, the victim made the decision to disinherit the defendant. However, his murder deprived him of the opportunity to submit his will to his attorney. This only further proves the defendant's motive. She would have needed to act quickly, lest her father submit the changed will.
I'm afraid you're mistaken, Miss Steelwind. William Frega didn't disinherit my client that night. He disinherited my client 5 years ago. I have witnessed testimony from Miriam Frega, William's youngest daughter. By her own admission, her father disinherited my client shortly after she fled the household.
What? She never brought that up during questioning.
Perhaps she's not as amicable to you as you thought. If you don't believe me, why don't we call her to the stand and ask her ourselves?
What are you planning, Miss Tymora?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Well, it's clear we won't get anywhere until we hear from Miriam directly. Bailiff, please escort Miriam Frega to the stand.
Oh boy.
Here we go. Here we go, folks.
Miriam, is the defense correct? Did your father disinherit Beatrice 5 years ago? Yes. And you didn't think it was necessary to share this information with me? Well, you never asked. If I recall correctly, you also were tight-lipped during questioning this morning. Are you staying quiet for your sister's sake?
The witness just lost her father. You can hardly expect her to recall every detail that's relevant to the case.
Which raises a more concerning question. How did you extract this information?
Who knows? Maybe I just have a way. Maybe I just have a way with people.
Regardless, I suppose you have a point. I'll give the witness the benefit of the doubt, for now. In any case, Miriam, please testify to the court about how you found out about Beatrice's disinheritance. Yes, of course.
All right, time for the witness testimony.
One day, we all woke up and discovered that Beatrice had fled from our home. She left a note for us, and in it she renounced her name and denounced my father. My father later called me and my sister into his study. He told us that he'd completely disowned Beatrice and removed any claim she had to the Frega estate. It was probably a threat to us in case we ever chose to go down the same path she did. He wanted to make an example out of her. This all happened 5 years ago. And are you sure this all happened 5 years ago? Yes. Even now, I can remember everything clearly. I see.
Her speech is getting slower. Is she deep in thought?
I don't think so, buddy.
Nightgrave seems extremely concerned for some reason.
And Leif was there with you at this meeting? Yes, she was. However, Leif couldn't have possibly been there.
Her words are getting more slurred. You also notice her balance is slightly swaying.
Hey, are you okay?
Of course
What?
By the Scaled Lord, is that blood?
Blood?
Bailiff, find anyone capable of casting healing magic. Escort them to the courtroom immediately.
Get a medic over here! After some scrambling, a couple of healers were able to help Nightgrave stabilize the prosecutor. In all the chaos, you caught a glimpse of her. There were deep wounds and blood on several parts of her body. She must have used some kind of illusion to hide them, but her disguise is completely dissipated now. Before Steelwind is taken out of the courtroom, you catch her whispering something into Nightgrave's ear. You see a look of confusion from him, but he nods and makes his way to the witness stand. But not before passing a message on to the bailiff, who seems equally confused. Just what the hell is going on?
Indeed. Mr. Nightgrave, explain yourself. What is going on? Why was Miss Steelwind so gravely injured?
I'm sorry, but I wasn't actually here as Miss Steelwind's aide. I was here as a healer. A healer? The truth is, Miss Steelwind was violently attacked at noon today.
What? What the heck is going on here?
She was in critical condition, but she insisted on prosecuting the case anyways. I owed her a favor. She asked me to channel my necromancy to keep her wounds closed during the trial.
Scaled Lord. Scaled Lord. Why didn't she just recuse herself?
I must have known. She must have known. If anyone else tried to prosecute Beatrice, I would have handily won the trial. Nevertheless, she showed up to prosecute because no one else would. And she did it all despite the risk of her life. It almost makes me respect her a little. Almost. Anyways, is there any need to prolong this trial, Your Honor?
What?
even you must acknowledge how weak the case against my client is. In addition to that, Miriam's testimony shows that my client had nothing to gain from her father's death.
What is going on here?
I'm smelling a plot here, folks. I have this in the back of my mind, but I'm not going to reveal it just yet, so...
Well, sit tight, folks. Ms. Tymora, Ms. Steelwind has been gravely injured, and you're still only concerned about...
The only thing I'm concerned about is seeking justice for my client.
Even so, we cannot move forward until we find another prosecutor.
And how long do you think that will take, Your Honor? It's almost been 12 hours since the murder took place. That gives us what? 36 hours? After that, every magical trace of the crime scene will fully disappear.
But there might be someone...
If Steelwind had simply allowed another prosecutor to work this case, we wouldn't be in this situation. She took a risk and now she has to pay the price. Wouldn't you agree, Your Honor? I'm not exactly proud of winning this way, but this is what it takes to win, and I won't let an opportunity like this pass you me by.
The judge is clearly unhappy with this turn of events, but it's out of his hands now.
Well, due to today's unprecedented events, I suppose I have no choice. There aren't any prosecutors available to immediately take Ms. Steelwind's place. We will take a brief recess. After that, I'll deliver my verdict. Objection! Oh, what the hell? Your Honor, I'm afraid you can't pass a verdict just yet. Mr. Cuthbert.
Cuthbert! What the hell are you doing?
I don't know. But what I do know is that there was a massive contradiction in Miriam Frega's testimony.
It looks like things aren't going to be as simple as you expected.
No.
It looks like things aren't going to be as simple as I expected.
Of course, I would love to save my progress because you never know. Holy smokes!
And it's only been what? 33 minutes. The night before.
Yeah, so we gotta run this back to kind of catch everybody up. I feel so out of place here.
Despite your clear hatred for the nobility, you found yourself at a party filled with aristocrats. You hardly recognize anyone, but many of the people here clearly recognize you. You're used to receiving dirty looks from the upper class, but you can literally feel everyone's disdain for you.
Why are you in the corner by yourself?
Oh, I forgot you were Celeste. Thank God. I can't believe I let you talk me into coming here.
For reasons unknown, you lose your train of thought.
I got a couple of ideas.
Phrasing!
I've been wanting to wear this dress for a while now. What do you think? What's wrong?
You suddenly feel extremely flustered. It's difficult to make eye contact with her.
Oh, I see. Are you enchanted by my beauty? Come on, say something.
Ever since that night in Ornax, I felt like something has been off between us.
Am I interrupting something?
Ms. Tymora.
I wanted to check in on you two before we went to meet with Lord Frega.
You spot a woman silently following behind her. Is she the client that Miss Tymora is representing? You're pretty sure this is your first time meeting her, but she still looks familiar for some reason.
Hi, I'm Tyrion Cuthbert. I'm Ms. Tymora's ward.
You extend out your hand to shake hers. She has an aristocratic air to her, so you hope you're not being too informal. Instead of taking her hand, she claps her hands together and takes a deep breath.
What?
Sorry, I didn't mean to do that. It's a bit of a habit of mine.
Oh.
Nevertheless, she finally shakes your hand.
I've heard much about you, Mr. Cuthbert. My name is Beatrice.
You're not sure about the details, but your mentor appears to be brokering a deal between Beatrice and William Frega. William Frega is the ruling lord of House Frega, so you're a little curious about what kind of deal he'd be involved in. But you'll learn not to pry in your mentor's business.
Anyways, we'll probably be gone for a while. Can I trust you two not to cause trouble? You're in a manor filled with the highest members of the nobility. You might meet some familiar yet unfriendly faces.
We'll keep a low profile, Miss Tymora.
Please do.
So, why were you so insistent on accompanying Miss Tymora to the Lord's ball?
That's...
You know you can tell me anything, right?
I guess everything that happened at Ornax made me think about things. I don't really know anything about my past or where I came from. I didn't want to think about it because of my dad and mom, but...
You wanted to find out who your biological parents are.
I do, but I don't know now. Being here is starting to make me feel weird. I still like my mom. I look for my birth parents being wrong somehow.
I don't think that's true.
Really?
Ms. Tymora adopted me when I was a child, and she gave me purpose in life. But I still keep my childhood memories from my mother close to me. Ms. Tymora and my mother are both important to me. I don't think it's disrespectful to find out more about yourself, and I'm sure your mother will understand.
You think so?
Of course. And I'm also sure of another thing. If I'm with you, I doubt any of the nobles here will want to speak with you.
Yeah, I didn't want to be rude, but...
Don't worry, I can find something to fill the time.
You're just gonna play chess alone, aren't you?
Maybe?
You really need to learn to talk to other people. Make some new friends or something.
I don't need more friends. I usually want to spend most of my time with you anyways.
Anyways, I'm gonna try to talk to some people.
Yeah, I'll see you later.
Celeste leaves to meet with some of the other partygoers. You find yourself with very little to do, and you doubt anyone would want to engage in small talk for the likes of you. Your hand instinctively goes to your satchel. It contains your foldable chessboard.
Well, it's not as if I have anything better to do. Should try to find an empty table to play on.
Let's move to the hallway.
I know where we gotta go, but I'm doing this for the story.
Each table has a centerpiece of flowers on it. Most of the seats at the tables are filled. It doesn't look like you'll be able to play here. Several gold-tinted chandeliers hang from the ceiling of the ballroom. They look fancy enough to be worth a small fortune. It irks you a little how much wealth Lord Frega must be hoarding to afford all this.
All right, let's move to the hallway. This place looks pretty quiet, but there aren't any tables anywhere. Well, I could play on the floor. What the?
While walking through the hallway, you suddenly find yourself face to face with a large wolf. Immediately upon you, the wolf quickly gallops away.
Did someone leave a door open?
You think about telling someone, but you remember that the manor is full of nobles. You're sure a servant will spot it eventually, and it's not as if anyone will believe you anyways. But it'd be probably best to find somewhere else to play.
You know, if it was me, dude, I would have told somebody right away. You know what I'm thinking? That wolf is going to be kind of important. What do you think?
Right. I think so.
Listen, every little tiny detail, as we've learned, has some sort of effect.
You look further around the manor and find a room with several displays. It looks like a gallery of some sort, but it's slightly out of place here. There are a few nobles in the room, and they're all silently appreciating the exhibits. Perhaps Lord Frega paid a museum to create some historical displays for the Lord's Ball.
Now there's a face I haven't seen before.
You should take a closer look at one of the exhibits. An old man approached. Is that a monk?
Is that a monkey on his back?
Hello, my name is Harold Haroldson. I'm the curator of this collection.
Harold Haroldson? Is that a pseudonym or something?
No?
Name Harold Harrelson. Occupation historian.
I see. Wait, he's a museum curator? He must be extremely knowledgeable about Wivengard's history. I wonder... Would you happen to know anything about the ancient dragons?
Ah, like the Scaled Lord, Rathalion. There are many pieces in this gallery, and some of them were items that were wielded by the 7 heroes of Wivengard. Legends say that some of these items were directly enchanted by Rathalion himself.
Enchanted by Rathalion? Would that mean that they also don't follow the rules of magic? Perhaps I should examine these items more closely. Alright, so I'm going to take a peek. It's a pair of metallic armbands. There are several magical runes carved onto them.
Those are the armbands of intellect. They were actually created by a member of House Frega many centuries ago.
Centuries? That would make these armbands one of the first creations of artificery.
That's correct. Legends say that whoever wore these armbands would be granted unparalleled levels of intellect. Many believe that House Frega created these to aid them in their study of magic.
Armbands of intellect have been entered into the court record.
The armbands of intellect are an ancient artifact. When worn by a creature, that creature's intelligence would be increased beyond the limits of an average human. Legends say that it was forged by a member of House Frega to further their study of magic. Interesting. Let's take a look at this. We're going from left to right, but the sword is the last one, and I haven't gotten to it yet. So let's take a look. It's a painting of some sort of scientist.
That man is Dr. Luke Kupfer. He was an alchemist and inventor from one of the branch families. He is well known for his studies into imbuing intelligence into automations.
Intelligent automations. Would that make them similar to arcane constructs?
Automatons.
Automatons. Intelligent automatons. Would that make them similar to arcane constructs?
Yes, actually. I wouldn't be surprised if Lord Van Sanctus used Dr. Kupfer's research to create those constructs.
So in essence, Von Sanctus is taking credit for someone else's work. Alright, so let's go take a look at these. It's a pair of golden earrings. There are small jewels embedded into each of them.
Those are the earrings of vitality. It's said that the Scaled Lord imbued a portion of his immortality into these. Legends say that whoever wore them would have their lifespan increased tenfold.
The Scaled Lord could do things like that?
Of course, he is the Scaled Lord after all.
Earrings of vitality have been entered into the court record.
The Earrings of Vitality are an ancient artifact. When worn by a creature, that creature's wounds would slowly heal over time. Furthermore, its holder's lifespan increases tenfold for as long as they're worn. Legends say that it was created by the Scaled Lord himself. Let's see here. It says microphone's unmuted but has no signal. That was 39 minutes ago.
Huh? I can hear you clear. Well, I can hear you clearly. Can you hear me?
Yes, loud and clear.
Yeah.
I'm just wondering about the stream. But I suppose we'll find out. Anyway, I'm just checking things. So here we go. Are there any spells that can create a similar effect to these earrings?
Not that I know of. A spell like that would probably fall under the school of necromancy. And I'm sure you know how much the kingdom scrutinizes that type of magic.
It's a painting of a researcher.
That is Professor Matt Ferrand. He was a professor of some renown. He was a researcher of combinatorial magic theory. What's that? It's the study of how different types of magic interact with each other. He famously ran an experiment on what would happen if two anti-magic fields overlapped each other. That's actually pretty interesting. What were the results of the experiment? Well, they had mages enter the space where the two fields overlapped. It turns out that those mages were able to use their magic in that space.
Oh, hey, package, I think that detail's going to be very important. Remember Commander Orem White's testimony about how an anti-magic field was pulled all over the place?
Yeah, I think I saw it.
I wonder. Wait, how would that be possible? They would have had two anti-magic fields affecting them.
When the two fields overlapped, they cancel each other out. I've heard that it's akin to multiplying two negative numbers together.
And finally, the pièce de résistance. It's a crimson-red short sword.
That's the sword of spell eating. Legends say that it has the power to protect its wielder from any kind of magic.
So it's like an anti-magic field.
In a way, yes, but it has less than heroic origins, I'm afraid. It's said that this sword was created through a blood pact between a mage and a demon.
A demon?
Legends say that some demons had the power to absorb and nullify magic. A demon must have imbued some of that power into this sword. Or at least that's what the legends say.
Sword of Spell Eating entered into the court record.
The Sword of Spell Eating is an ancient artifact wielded by a creature. That creature and anything connected to them physically or magically are immune to all harmful magical effects. Legends say that it was forged through a blood contract between a mage and a demon. Is it safe to put something like this on display? What if the legends are true?
Don't worry. These displays are fortified with several abjuration spells. I bet even Lord Steelwind would have trouble getting into this.
Haraldson Security has been entered into the court record.
The artifacts on display at the Lord's Ball were protected by layers of abjuration spells. Even a highly skilled mage would have trouble breaking into them. What if there was an anti-magic field all over the place? Would that nullify the effects?
I would think so.
Yikes. So actually, it's kind of counterintuitive. Let's talk to him. Harold Haraldson. So what is a historian doing at the Lord's Ball, Mr. Haraldson?
Harold.
Right, Harold.
Anyways, Lord Frega invites my museum to set up some displays here every year. You must think it adds a semblance of culture, the fool.
You own a museum?
Yes, it's the Haraldson Hall of History, located in the city of Homherith.
That's a mouthful.
Unfortunately, I don't think his guests appreciate the historical significance of these items. Honestly, I think you're the only person in years who's taking a meaningful interest in them.
Huh, interesting. What's the monkey on your back? Sorry, but I really have to ask, is that a monkey riding on your back?
Yes, this is my familiar, Eugene.
Your familiar?
A familiar is a creature that a mage has formed a magical bond with. With that bond, our souls are forever connected. I can communicate with him telepathically. I could even cast my spells through him if I wanted to.
Hey, there's a wolf running around the premises. I wonder if that wolf is a familiar. Anyway, really? I never knew a spell like that existed.
It's quite rare. Very few mages take the time to learn how to cast it.
Familial bond has been entered into the court record.
The caster forms a magical, unbreakable bond with the target creature, connecting them to the caster's magic. While this bond exists, the caster can telepathically communicate with the target over any distance. The caster can also choose to see through the target's eyes as long as they concentrate. And lastly, the caster can also cast spells from the location of the target creature instead of their own location. Once this bond is formed, neither the caster nor the target can form bonds with any other creature. This bond can only be broken in death. Oh boy, so, forgive me for jumping forward and coming to conclusions here, but I think I know how it's possible that Beatrice Frega could have done anything while she was blind. She relies on her wolf. Now we got to
something else, maybe.
We got to prove that. But I'm telling you, I mean, that's a pretty good way. That's a pretty good way to get around shit. Anyway,
Eugene helps me with my day-to-day. These old bones aren't as spry as they used to be, after all.
the ancient dragons. Harold.
Harold.
As a historian, do you have a lot of knowledge about the ancient dragons?
The answer to that question is somewhat complicated.
What do you mean?
Jesus. Unfortunately, a lot of historical texts in my collection have been altered or even outright destroyed by the Church of Bahamut. Because of that, it's quite difficult to separate myths from actual historical accounts.
Right. I remember encountering a similar problem at the Imperial Academy.
You must be quite dedicated to your studies. They let this simpleton into the Imperial Academy?
Rude. I suppose it can't be helped.
And I had to fight the church for a long time before I could even display dragon bones in my museum.
The power of the dragons. In the history of the ancient dragons, was there any instance of them granting powers to humans?
Well, of course. That's the entire premise behind the 7 Heroes of Wivengard. Does this idiot not even know about that?
Right. Was there anything before that? Did they ever grant supernatural abilities that didn't follow the rules of arcane magic?
Granting supernatural abilities, you say? That sounds like something demonic in nature rather than draconic.
Demonic?
Much like the ancient dragons, demons are the stuff of myths. There are many stories of people selling their souls to them for untold power.
Selling their souls? I recall
You recall the notes that your mother left for you before she was executed. Use my eyes. Peer beyond the divine gate as I once did. She told you to use her eyes. Did your mother make a deal with a demon to give you the Eye of Horus?
Oh, shit.
Oh, God.
Oh, I hope not. Goddamn.
Is something wrong? This simpleton is far too superstitious.
No, nothing's wrong. It's a bit too much to take in. But I might just be overthinking this. There haven't been any recorded sightings of demons in recent history. They're only second-hand stories and superstitions. The Eye of Horus can't possibly be demonic, can it? I hope Celeste's invitation is going better than mine. Investigation is going better than mine.
How dare you insinuate that I engaged in an adulterous relationship? That's not what I... Enough. If you try to speak with me again, I'll have the King's Guard throw you out. This isn't working. I don't think asking them like that will be very effective. What? Did you expect anyone here to be truthful with you?
Hello.
Oh, look at the dress on her.
Anyway.
You're essentially asking them if they cheated on their spouses. Have you been spying on me? Not intentionally. I was just surprised to see you here, of all places. Right, I guess that makes sense. You're not party crashing, are you? Of course not. I came here with Ruby and Tyrion.
I wonder how she's going to take that news.
That honestly raises more questions than answers, but I'll take your word for it. Anyways, you're looking for your birth parents, aren't you? Was I being that obvious? It's the only reason I could think of. Why else would you be trying to speak with members of the nobility? I don't know if it's any of my business, but think hard about whether this is what you truly want. Getting entangled in the aristocracy will only bring you misery. I've read your file. You have everything you could ever want. You have your mother and your friends. You even have a lover. What? You're in a relationship with Mr. Cuthbert, are you not?
Sticking the dagger in, are we? Listen, look here, lady. There's no proof, and it's none of your damn business.
No, Tyrion's not my... Really? From the way you two behave around one another, I just assumed. It's pretty obvious you have feelings for him. What? How obvious? Did you seriously not notice? I think someone with his deductive reasoning skills would easily see through you. Oh, yeah? What about you and Aster? I have no idea what you're talking about. Come on, I was there at Fonseca's Manor. It's so obvious you like him. Please, you're grossly exaggerating things. He may be my fiancé, but I only have the utmost respect for him. And what if I told you he was standing right behind you? Do you honestly think I'd fall for something like that?
What are you falling for? Whoa! Oh, there he is!
Ah! Your Highness! Oh, hello, Lady Steelwind.
I'm gonna take this guy.
Go ahead.
Oh, hello, Lady Steelwind.
Your Highness, please don't run ahead like that.
The fuck?
Your conversation with Harold was Okay, go ahead.
My conversation with Harold was definitely interesting, but I still find myself with very few leads. Be it dragons or demons, the origins of the Eye of Horus still remain a mystery. I'm returning to the ballroom.
You find yourself returning to the ballroom, and you spot Celeste in the corner with some other people. Is she with Aster and Steelwind?
He asked her, what do you think of Steelwind's dress?
It suits you very well, Miss Steelwind. You look lovely.
Gross.
As you approach the group, you're stopped by a knight from the King's Guard. He stares you down.
What?
Repario Arcanum. That was the incantation for detect magic. The knight stares you up and down. Celeste hasn't cast any spells on you lately, so she shouldn't be able to see any traces of magic.
What the hell was that?
Oh, Mr. Cuthbert.
What was that all about?
My apologies. They were making sure you weren't disguising yourself with an illusion.
Ah, that makes sense. The King's Guard are charged with keeping us safe. They must take every precaution to protect us. Oh, and who might you be? Do not speak so familiarly with me, peasant.
Ulrich, don't speak to him like that.
Why shouldn't I speak to him as I please? I am Prince Alaric de Wivengard VI. I will not demote myself by showing courtesy to a commoner. Doesn't he mean demean?
Name, Ulrich de Wivengard. Occupation, Prince.
Oh, boy.
How about... I'm terribly sorry about him, Mr. Cuthbert.
It's fine. Anyways,
weren't you supposed to be investigating your birth parents? Leave the poor woman alone.
She started it.
Right.
I'm actually quite surprised to see you both here. What brings you to the Lord's ball, Mr. Cuthbert?
We were just accompanying Ms. Tymora. Her client has business with Lord Frega.
Her client? Oh, she's mad. But Beatrice. Beatrice suddenly storms to the ballroom. She almost walks right past you before she hears Aster's voice.
Oh boy. There's a reason for this.
She looks furious. Did her discussion with Lord Frega go badly?
Oh, that voice. Is that you, Aster?
It really is you. She called him Aster instead of Your Highness. Do they personally know each other?
Actually, I'm gonna do... She called him Aster instead of Your Highness. Do they personally know each other?
I'm glad to see you again. It's been quite some time.
Is that really all you have to say?
It appears you two have much to talk about. I'll be taking my leave.
There's a bit of tension in the air. Celeste, we should probably get going too.
Yeah.
That's awkward.
Wow. That was awkward.
Yeah, I wonder how those two know each other. She's working with Miss Tymora, but she somehow knows Lord Frega and the Crown Prince. Just who is she? Well, I suppose it's none of my business. Anyways, how did your investigation go?
I got nothing. I think all I did was make a bunch of the nobles mad.
Sorry. I know you really wanted answers, but I'm sure something will come up.
You think so?
Might be a little irresponsible to give her hope like this. A noble abandoned her at a tavern in a rundown village. I doubt someone like that would make themselves easy to find.
Anyways, I don't want this night to be a total loss. Come on, dance with me.
No. What?
Here we go.
That's not really something I...
Don't be like that. How often do we get to go to a party like this?
Before you have a chance to object, she grabs your hand and starts dragging you into the middle of the room. You receive a few dirty looks from the aristocrats nearby.
Oh, fuck them. Celeste, people are staring at us.
Who cares what they think? They're nobles. They're gonna hate us no matter what we do.
She takes hold of your other hand and begins to pull you into a waltz.
I don't even know how to dance. I've never done this before.
It's easy. Just stop being so awkward about it.
That's easy for her to say.
Okay, it's simple, brother. Just follow the beat. And follow
Watch
the
the
beat
feet.
and follow the beat and watch your feet.
All right, just tell me what I need to do.
Well, first, you need to be closer to me.
Uh-oh.
With one swift motion, she pulls your body closer to hers.
Watch my movements and try to follow my lead.
You seem to know a lot about these things.
I had to do a lot of networking when I was a mercenary. Do you know how many times I had to charm a merchant into hiring me?
I see. I really don't know much about her, do I? Okay.
Carefully watch the position of her feet and try to match her movements. After a while, you find yourself able to match her rhythm. But you still accidentally step on her foot every few beats. She doesn't seem fazed by it. Either she's being polite or she generally doesn't feel anything.
You're getting it, but don't focus so much on where your feet are. Just look at me.
What?
Come on, do it.
You try to break eye contact with her, but every time you do, you slowly find yourself being drawn back into her eyes. You feel so embarrassed that you're becoming lightheaded, and you find yourself perspiring more than usual. But at the same time, you don't have any urge to break away from her. There's a comforting warmth behind all the anxiety you're feeling.
Ah, there it is. The infamous Tyrion Cuthbert. Never turns away from challenging a noble, but can't dance a step to save his life.
Her expression doesn't betray a hint of it, but you still detect feelings of nervousness from her. Is he just as flustered as you are?
Yes, absolutely. Listen, brother, they are just as confused as you are. Just roll with it.
You find yourself relaxing a bit more, and you're somehow able to continue matching her movements.
See? There you go. Although,
What is it?
you know the man is supposed to lead, right?
Maybe I don't subscribe to gender stereotypes.
Or maybe you just suck at this.
Blunt, are we?
It's been a while since I felt this calm. It's always been something that I needed to prepare for. A client that needed saving, a culprit that needed catching. I'm quite content with this one brief moment. I mean,
Time
you're
out.
right.
Here, check it out. Do this.
It's been a while since you felt this calm. There's always been something that you needed to prepare for. A client that needs saving. A culprit that needed catching. But you're quite content with this one brief moment that you're able to spend with her. You almost find yourself getting lost in the mood. Until you spot a familiar face accompanied by a legion of knights.
Uh-oh, buzzkill.
No, don't tell me.
The knights storm their way toward where Beatrice and Aster are. Several of the attendees take notice. They all stop what they're doing to see what's going on. Beatrice Frega, by the authority of the Wyvern Crown, you're under arrest.
Did he just say Beatrice Frega?
Damn it, it was just getting good. We should go see what's happening, shouldn't we?
Yeah, let's go.
You are completely out of line, Commander. I thought I told you to stand down.
Do you not recognize who you're speaking to? Let go of Lady Frega.
I can't really do that, Your Highness. I really can't. I can't really do that, Your Highnesses.
Aster, what's going on?
It's Lord Frega. He was found murdered in his study. And these creatures think that Beatrice is behind it somehow. Sorry, Your Highness, but my orders come straight from Steelwind.
Lady Steelwind sent you?
Beatrice takes in a deep breath and claps her hands together.
I should go with them.
What? No.
My brother is right. They have no right to.
I don't want to cause friction between you and Arya. She's always been meticulous. I'm sure she's just being careful. I'm sure he'll be exonerated once they've thoroughly investigated what happened.
Okay. Only if that's what you truly want.
What? You can't just let them take her away?
Brother, she's correct. It is not our place to interfere with the laws of our kingdom.
But...
However... Yes, Your Highness? Miss Beatrice is blind. One of your knights will need to escort her. She's what?
Did he just say that she's blind?
Beatrice's blindness added to the court record.
Beatrice Frega is completely blind. She is unable to see anything through her eyes. This has been verified through several medical reports and qualified chirurgeons.
Anyways, we're gonna need to take you to a holding cell, lady. One of you should stay with her and guide her through.
Please, I may be disabled, but I'm not a child.
Beatrice walks past the knights and heads towards the foyer. It appears that she already knows. It appears that she already knows the way out.
Shouldn't you all be following her?
Right, Inquisition, move out. You definitely didn't expect the night to go like this. Just what is going on here?
Would you like to save your progress? Yes, we would.
Because you never know.
Okay, so I guess we're going to continue this investigation.
We go forward like a breath exhaled from the earth, with vigor in our hearts and one goal in sight.
Oh, I can't believe they kept us here until noon.
Lord's Ball was already running well into the night, even before the murder occurred. You'd like nothing more than to catch up on your lost sleep, but you made a promise to Aster. This doesn't make any sense. Beatrice was with me and my brother the entire night.
Right. We were there when she met with him in Steelwind.
She couldn't have stolen the sword of spell-eating and have murdered her father.
I don't understand. Of all the people that could have done this, why would Steelwind suspect a blind woman?
Mr. Cuthbert, could you defend Beatrice against these awful charges?
I don't think I even need to.
What?
Beatrice is Ruby's client. I'm sure that she'll be the one defending her.
Well, that certainly puts my mind at ease.
What's wrong?
I don't know if I'm asking too much, but could you still investigate the crime scene for me, Mr. Cuthbert?
What? But we just said that Ms. Tymora will...
I know, and I don't doubt her abilities. But Beatrice is a dear friend of mine. I'd like every chance for her to be found innocent.
He said that she was a dear friend. They must know each other since she's a Frega. But why would Ms. Tymora, of all people, represent a member of a noble house? Still a lot of things I don't know about her.
Of course, I'll also compensate you for your services.
Consider yourself blessed. A commoner like you can only dream of a job like this.
Alaric. Tiny Prince.
Well, the Tiny Prince has a point, though. Payment from the Crown Prince does sound tempting.
I can't believe this.
Celeste returns to the ballroom. She's changed back to her normal clothes.
What's wrong?
The people in the courtroom said they couldn't find my sword.
What?
Oh, that's a problem.
They told me that someone must have stolen it.
What?
Celeste's missing sword added to the court record.
When Celeste went to the courtroom to change, she was told that her sword had gone missing. Someone else must have taken it. Oh shit! You don't think? Oh no, that might be that's not a good sign. Why would someone want to steal Celeste's sword? Aside from our group, everyone else at the ball was an aristocrat. I do recall her saying that it was forged in the Eastern Kingdoms. Someone might have stolen it because of its rarity. If it's stolen because of its rarity, I have a suspect at the top of the list. We can probably keep an eye out for it while we investigate the manor. This might all just be some kind of mistake.
I hope so. But anyways, where should we start first?
We should head to the crime scene.
I remember hearing that they found Lord Frega's body in a study. Let's go over there.
All right, so let's go. Let's move. Da-da-da-da-da, charge! Oh boy!
You arrive at the crime scene and see the usual swarm of Inquisitionites. However, you also spot some members of the King's Guard. You must be working together since the victim is from one of the Pillar families.
I wasn't expecting to see you here, Mr. Cuthbert. I thought Ruby Tymora was defending this case.
Prosecutor Steelwind approaches you as you enter the study. and he's followed by an unexpected yet familiar face.
Wallace, what are you doing here? He's here as my aide for the investigation.
Well, I don't doubt Wallace's abilities, but I can't think of any reason why Steelwind would need his help. I can. Well, but I suppose it's none of my business. Anyways, we're here on behalf of Crown Prince Aster. He hired us to investigate this case independently.
I see. I'm sure he just wants us to make sure the investigation goes smoothly. Well, if you're here on behalf of His Highness, I'll do whatever I can to help you.
This whole situation is quite unorthodox, but our goal remains the same. Perhaps Steelwind can tell me more about what happened.
All right, let's talk to her.
Talk to her.
The murder.
What can you tell me about the murder?
William Frega was found dead in this room after the lockdown was lifted.
Wait, lockdown? What lockdown?
From what we can tell, his throat had been slashed open with a letter opener.
The cause of death was blood loss. Both of his carotid arteries were severed.
Carotid.
Both of his carotid arteries were severed.
Here's the autopsy report if you want a detailed description.
William Frega's autopsy report added to the court record.
But we already know all this. Traces of illusion magic were also found on the body, though, and several scratch marks on the face and back. Interesting. Were you able to find the murder weapon?
Yes, the murderer left it at the crime scene. It was a letter opener owned by the victim.
The murderer must have found it in this room and used it.
There was one strange detail about the weapon. The handle was completely shattered. We're not sure what to make of that detail, but it's as if something crushed the handle using tremendous force.
The wolf bit into it. Or whatever was happened anyway.
Murder weapon has been added to your court record.
The murder weapon was a letter opener with House Frega's crest on it. Must have been owned by the victim. Its handle was completely shattered. It would have taken a tremendous amount of force to crush it like that.
What could have caused the handle to shatter like that?
Talk to her again. It looks like we're about the lock. What about the lockdown?
You mentioned that there was a lockdown. When did this happen?
Is this how far you went when you scouted ahead?
No, I only went as far as the first part. I didn't even get to the dance part, honestly.
Okay.
You didn't notice. The Inquisition did try to be discreet. But everyone noticed the commotion Beatrice and the two princes made over it. I suppose you two must have been lost in your own little world, weren't you?
Oh. Anyways, you said that Lord Frega's body was found after the lockdown. That means that something else must have happened prior.
Supposedly, someone had broken into one of the Haraldson exhibits.
Ugh.
One of the magical artifacts was stolen.
So there was also a theft last night. Does the Manor's lockdown system behave like the one at the Imperial Academy?
The systems are somewhat different. Unlike the Imperial Academy, the lockdown only prevents people from leaving or entering the manor.
So not all of the rooms were locked. But what about this specific room?
This room does have abjuration wards that lock the door and prevent teleportation in and out of it. And in addition to that, the system placed an anti-magic field over the manor. An anti-magic field?
What is that?
Anti-magic field is a spell that nullifies all magic within it.
Anti-magic field has been entered into the court record.
While concentrating on this spell, the caster forms a 10-foot radius sphere that nullifies all magic within it. Any spell effect that enters the sphere instantly dissipates, and any mage that tries to cast a spell within this zone will fail to do so. If this zone of anti-magic overlaps with any other magical nullification effect, the two effects will cancel each other out. And the system somehow covered the entire mana in this effect.
If you noticed, there are several purple crystals embedded in the walls of the manor. Each of those crystals produce an anti-magic field during the lockdown.
Lockdown system has been entered into the court record.
The lockdown system covers the entire manor. Once activated, it creates magical barriers that prevent anyone from leaving or teleporting out of the building. In addition to this, it covers the entire manor in an anti-magic field. Within this field, any and all magical effects are nullified and disabled. However, anyone physically or magically connected to the Sword of Spell Eating would be immune to the effects of the anti-magic fields. Okay, so in that case, we can't talk about the overlaps. Anyway, so no one could cast magic during the entirety of the lockdown?
Not exactly. Someone could have used the stolen artifact to circumvent it.
Well, who would have done that, though? Stolen artifact. You mentioned that someone could have used the stolen artifact to get past the anti-magic fields. Which artifact was it?
It was the Sword of Spell Eating.
That was the demon-forged item that could supposedly nullify magic. If the legends were true, someone could have used it to counteract the lockdown system.
After Lord Harrison reported the theft, the Inquisition discreetly placed the manor on lockdown. They searched every room in the manor to try to find it, but it was eventually found in Beatrice's bedroom.
And that led them to believe that she had stolen it.
That's correct. The King's Guard moved to arrest her, but Prince Asta ordered them to step down. It didn't look like she was planning on fleeing, so they planned to wait until after the party had ended.
But then they found Lord Frega's body.
Correct. We believe that she used the stolen sword to nullify the magical locks and break into Lord Frega's study. But if she had the sword, why wouldn't she use that to commit the murder? We're not entirely sure. We have a few working theories. She might have wanted to prevent the theft from being tied to the murder. Or perhaps she had more confidence wielding a knife over a sword. Regardless of her reasons, it's clear that the sword wasn't the murder weapon.
So she's not just being implicated in Lord Frega's murder. She's also being charged with stealing the Sword of Spell Eating. But what possible reason would she have to do either of those crimes?
Talk to her.
Lord Frega in the study with the candlestick. Since the body was found here, was Lord Frega locked in this room during the lockdown?
Yes. William Frega knew that this room should have been secured. He was supposedly in a bad mood and had locked himself in this room for most of the night. He refused to let anyone into the room. The only person he spoke to after that was his daughter.
His daughter? Are you talking about Miriam?
No. Lord Frega had another daughter. I'm referring to Leif Frega, Lord Frega's middle child. She tried to tell her father about the theft, but he was apparently preoccupied with something else. He said that he wanted to stay in his study for the rest of the night.
When did this happen?
It was shortly before the lockdown was activated, a little after 1 a.m.
I see.
Leif's testimony has been entered into the court record.
After his meeting with Beatrice Frega, William Frega retreated into his study and locked himself within it. He refused to speak with almost everyone who tried to disturb him. The only person he spoke to was Leif Frega. She told him about the theft of the Sword of Spell Eating a little after 1 a.m., but William didn't seem to care and returned to his business. Leif must have been the last person to see Lord Frega alive then. I should speak with her and get more details about Lord Frega's actions that night. By the way, Steelwind, do you have a map of the manor?
I do. Would you like a copy?
Please and thank you.
Frega Manor, floor 1, entered into the court record.
It's a map of the ground floor of Frega Manor. It shows the rooms relevant to the case. So let me just take a quick look at the time here. And
Frega Manor floor 2. Frega Manor floor 2. Enter to the court record.
Second floor. All right. I'll keep talking to her, but I'm also going to look at the room. Witnesses. Were there any other witnesses aside from Leif who saw Lord Frega that night? Perhaps someone heard what happened from a nearby room.
There was someone who heard the altercation, but it was quite obscured. A servant was trapped in the storage room nearby. There's an air vent that connects this room with that storage room. He supposedly heard sounds of a struggle through that vent.
What did this witness hear?
There were sounds of a struggle before he heard Lord Frega choking on his own blood. When the lockdown was lifted, he informed the King's Guard of what he heard. That's when they discovered the body.
I see. Who was this servant?
I believe you actually know him. His name is Jan Hughes.
Oh,
The janitor from the academy.
Oh, Jesus. Talk about bad luck.
Wait, Mr. Hughes is here?
I never expected to see him again, much less here of all places. But if he heard the altercation, I'll definitely want to speak with him. Okay, so let's see here.
Yeah, talk to her again. Beatrice Frega.
I think I'm lacking a lot of information about the defendant. From the way you were both acting, you and Asta seem to know her.
Your mentor didn't tell you about her.
No, I try not to pry into her business.
I see. I honestly don't know much about what happened either. But Beatrice was Lord Frega's eldest daughter and the former heir to the House Frega.
Former heir?
About 5 years ago, she fled Frega Manor and went into hiding. None of us knew where she'd gone. She ignored any attempts we made to contact her. She even used her magic to prevent us from scrying her. Last night's ball was the first time in years that Asta and I had seen her.
Beatrice's story has been entered into the court record.
Beatrice Frega fled from her family 5 years ago and went into hiding. Until the night of the murder, many of her friends and family members hadn't seen or heard from her. But if that's true, how did Ms. Tymora meet her? Yeah,
Talk to her about that.
How indeed.
What about that meeting?
Would you happen to know why Beatrice was meeting with her father after all these years?
I have some ideas, but nothing concrete. I was hoping you could tell me. Tymora and Beatrice had both refused to disclose anything about their meeting.
Damn it. What could that meeting have been about?
Speaking of which, I haven't seen Tymora anywhere in the manor. As a defendant's attorney, I would have thought that she'd be here to investigate the murder alongside you.
That is strange. But Ms. Tymora has always had her own way of doing things. Perhaps she's using a different strategy.
Anyways, I imagine that she met with her father to request financial aid.
Why do you say that?
I have it on good authority that she was deeply in debt. That's the only reason why she would speak with her father after all these years. It's also why I believe she murdered her father.
You think she murdered him for his inheritance?
It's the only motive that makes sense.
All right, there's a lot to work through here. The prosecution will try to assert that Beatrice committed the murder. But what would she have needed to do to carry out all of the actions described? All right, so the first thing we need to do is narrow down the time in which the murder occurred. When did the murder occur? The body was discovered after the lockdown was lifted. And Leif Frega saw her father alive before it was activated. He entered his study and she watched as the lock engaged. Okay, the murder occurred before the lockdown.
I'd say during.
Right, the murder must have occurred during the lockdown.
But that means that the murderers somehow got past the abjuration wars that protected this room.
Those wards block teleportation, and they magically locked the only door leading into this room. Steelwind and the Inquisition believe that Beatrice used the Sword of Spell-Eating to get past them. Regardless of what they think, we need to assume that the murderer used some kind of magic nullification to get into William's study.
But that's not necessarily true, is it? What if the murderer entered the room before William locked it?
If they were in the room when William locked it, they would have been trapped here until he decided to leave. Not only that, they would have been discovered the moment the guards entered his study.
Maybe they used some kind of invisibility? Or they could have teleported away the moment... Or they could have teleported away the moment the Kingsguard unlocked the door. Teleportation didn't occur. We didn't find any traces of conjuration magic.
What about Celeste's theory of an invisible assailant?
I'll admit that we did find traces of illusion magic. But the moment the guards saw the body, one of them cast Detect Magic. With that spell, they would have seen any invisible people hiding in this room. Wait, you can use Detect Magic like that? Of course, it's standard procedure. Like all spells, invisibility leaves traces of magic on the person it's cast on. So mages can use Detect Magic as a way to see through invisibility.
So we know for sure that they weren't here before or after the lockdown. This means that whoever committed the murder used some way to bypass the abjurative wards that protect this room.
Method of entry has been entered into the court record.
The murderer somehow entered William Frega's study despite it being protected with abjurative wards. These wards magically locked the only door leading into the room. They also prevented teleportation in and out of the room. It's possible to temporarily nullify these wards with the Sword of Spell-Eating. The next thing to consider is the murder weapon. Where did the murder weapon come from? It was a letter opener that was presumably owned by William Frega. The murderer probably used it to avoid leaving evidence that incriminated them. Let's see.
So
the
I'd
murderer hid the murder weapon in Frega's study.
More like took.
The murderer took the murder weapon in Frega's study?
Yeah, I'd say that.
Right. The letter opener came from this room. The murderer probably wanted to avoid using a weapon that would have implicated them, so they decided to use it and leave it here after the deed was done. But that leaves a glaring hole in the prosecution's case.
And what would that be, Mr. Cuthbert?
What is flawed with the prosecution's case? Let's see. Beatrice Frega is completely blind.
Yeah, she's blind, remember?
Beatrice Frega is completely blind. Even if she was somehow able to break into a highly guarded exhibit, how did she slip past the guards and enter Lord Frega's study? Furthermore, how did she locate the letter opener if she couldn't see it in the first place? None of it makes sense. Committing this murder unseen would have been a tall order for anyone. I can hardly believe a blind person did all of this.
You do well not to underestimate her, Mr. Cuthbert.
What?
You don't know her as I do. She's far more capable than you realize. She must be the one behind this.
No, she's pissed off and jealous at her, that's why. I suppose I wouldn't know, but the idea that Beatrice did any of this is still ludicrous.
I suppose I can't change your mind about that. But I have to ask you a question, Mr. Cuthbert. What would you do if you discovered that one of your clients was guilty?
What? I mean, I tend to have an insight into these sorts of things. That would never happen.
I've already seen your uncanny ability to read people, but I'm only hypothetically speaking. So, what would you do if they were guilty?
I'd suppose I'd withdraw and tell them to find another lawyer.
And if no one else would represent them?
I don't know. It would definitely be a hard choice for me, but I would never be able to represent them if I knew the truth. I just can't stand by and let a murderer escape justice.
I see.
Why do you ask?
No reason.
Okay. Anyway, she's made her stance clear. I still have a lot of leads to follow up on. I should move somewhere else.
Yeah, the storage room.
I'm trying to examine the room, but
What's wrong?
You can't see it, but the entire room is covered in traces of abjuration magic. Everything is glowing white.
Right, that makes sense. There are several anti-magic fields covering the manor. Those fields probably left traces of abjuration everywhere.
I won't bother showing you the traces of abjuration I find while we're here.
There's a large mahogany table at the end of the room. Lord Frega must have done his work here. There's a pool of blood and a chalk outline where the body must have been.
Interestingly enough, there's like 4 viewers on Twitch.
Hey, great.
You think Zion's watching?
you know, I'm kind of surprised I haven't heard from him yet. What's this?
It's a painting of some sort of scholar. There's some text on it. Rook Resignar, economic scholar and aristocratic accountant. He was known in some circles as Rook the Cook, due to his ability to cook the books of the 4 pillar houses.
Rook the Cook. Sometimes I wish I could have a nickname like that.
What about Crimson Demon?
Not that one.
Okay, let's see. It'd be kind of funny if there was something secret behind the bookcase.
It's a bookshelf filled with books.
I wonder what kind of books Lord Frega owned. Wait a minute. They're all blank.
All of his real books are on the floor or his desk. It's interesting. What's this? There are several books about economics and politics. Doesn't look like there's anything of note.
All right.
Well,
you know
let's
what?
move.
Well, let's detect magic.
Repario Arcanum.
So let's look at this.
There's a trace of illusion magic where the body was.
The assailant must have used some kind of magical disguise.
Or they turned themselves invisible.
No, that's not what happened. All right, well, let's move. Let's go to the storage room. That was right next to that was right next to the area.
You enter the storage room, hoping to investigate the air vent that connects to Lord Frega's study. When you come across a person laying on the floor.
What? Gian, is that you?
Oh, man. What's all the noise? I was having such a good nap, too.
Mr. Hughes.
Whoa, it's you two.
Why are you taking a nap in the storage room?
Oh, I needed to take a break from all the chaos going on. The King's Guard won't let us leave till I finish investigating the murder. This pompous noble shooed me away when I tried sleeping on one of the couches. Didn't expect anyone, and I didn't expect anyone to find me here.
Anyways, the prosecutor told us that you heard the murder from here during lockdown. Do you think you could tell us what happened?
Sure, why not? My nap's kind of ruined anyways.
So you're working as a servant now.
No, exactly. But I was a part of the catering staff. The twins started their own food business at the Frega threw us out of the academy.
Right. Sorry about that.
No, it's not your fault. Even if Red was still headmaster, I'm sure the board would have found some other way to get rid of us.
Wait, are Valentina and Valerie here too?
No, they just contracted some staff to Lord Frega for the Lord's Ball. I think a bunch of other businesses did the same thing.
I wonder how they feel about all this. They lent their services to the very man who got them fired in the first place. William must have offered them a lot of gold.
Interesting indeed. The murder. Man, I can't believe I got myself pulled into another murder investigation. Did I have bad luck or what? The prosecutor told us that you heard the altercation through the air vents. Could you tell us exactly what you heard? Well, I didn't hear everything. I was taking a nap in this room when it happened.
Why were you napping here?
Didn't have a choice. I accidentally closed the door when the lock was engaged. Before I knew it, I was trapped here.
Right, I recall Steelwind mentioning that.
Anyways, I heard the sound of some kind of struggle going on. Couldn't hear everything, but I heard Frega shout, "Who are you? What do you want?" That went on for a few seconds. Then I heard the sound of someone getting stabbed.
Did you hear the voice of the assailant?
I didn't say anything, but I did hear them. The voice was really raspy. I think they had a sore throat or something.
Or they were trying to mask their voice.
What Jan heard had been added to the court record.
Jan Hughes was trapped in a storage room near William Frega's study. He took a nap but was awoken to the sounds of some kind of physical struggle. He heard Frega shout, "Who are you? What do you want?" After a few more seconds, he heard the sound of someone being stabbed. Yikes.
Hey, Twitch viewers, feel free to sound off on the chat.
Yeah, absolutely. So, the storage room.
Why did you enter the storage room anyways?
Servants were complaining about rats running through the air vents, so they sent me to take care of it. I heard one of them running in the vents upstairs, and I fooled it here. Figured I had nowhere else to go, so I opened it up and put a trap down. After I was done, I tried to leave, but the door was locked. Didn't have anything else to do, so I took a nap.
Rats in the vents have been added to the court record.
The servants have been frequently complaining about the sound of rats running through the vents. Jan tried to track one of them down and followed it to the storage room.
He only heard a few words before the murderer struck the final blow. Doesn't give me much to go on, but his testimony could become relevant later. For now, I should probably move somewhere else and gather more information.
I'd move to her bedroom or something.
Well, that's the only other place that's on the list, so let's go. Come on, Tracker, where are you? I don't know who's saying this. Actually...
Come on, Tracker, where are you?
Shoo!
As you enter Beatrice's room, you're unexpectedly met with a large cloud of dust.
Wow, this place has not been clean.
Oh, this is... Okay, you get this woman.
Yeah. Oh?
Your vision clears up, and you realize that there's someone else in the room with you.
Sorry, I didn't mean to intrude.
No, there's no need to apologize. But I would like to know what you're doing here. We're here on behalf of the Crown Prince. We're investigating the murder of William Frega. Oh, I see.
My apologies. I didn't quite get your name.
My name is Leif Frega.
Name, Lady Frega, occupation noble.
Aha.
The mid-daughter.
So this is Leif. According to Steelwind, she was the last person to see Lord Frega alive yesterday. She might have some information about how he was acting that night.
Oh, it sounds like we're going to get in an argument soon, but what did you see?
I'm sorry for your loss, Lady Frega, but do you mind if I ask you some questions about last night?
Of course.
Again, gotta hydrate.
I'd examine in the middle of this because
100%.
could be some magic here.
True.
Prosecutor Steelwind told us that you were the last person to see him alive. Did you notice anything unusual about your father's behavior?
Well, he was extremely upset about something. I think Beatrice may have offended him during their meeting.
Oops.
The servant said that he wanted to be left alone. He retreated into his study immediately after the meeting. I tried to speak with him when the theft was reported, but he didn't much care about the missing artifact. He told me to leave him alone and let the King's Guard investigate the source. making the changes to his will.
Now that's an interesting thought. When did you speak with him last?
It was before the activated lockdown. It was a little after 1 a.m. that night.
Leif's
testimony has been entered into the court record.
After his meeting with Beatrice Frega, William Frega retreated into his study and locked himself within it. He refused to speak with almost everyone who tried to disturb him. The only person he spoke to was Lady Frega. She told him about the theft of the Sword of Spell Eating a little after 1 a.m., but William didn't seem to care and returned to his business. Through Leif's thoughts, you know that he entered the study to make some sort of adjustment to his will. Do you have any idea what he was doing in his study?
What? No, I have no idea.
You detect some fear from her.
Lady Frega, is there something you're not telling us? It's important that we know about your father's actions before his death.
I'm sorry. I don't know anything else. My father was a private man and didn't share much with anyone, even his own family. I wish I could be of more help, but I really don't know anything else. I refuse to believe that's why he was killed.
What do you mean, that?
She's clearly holding...
She's clearly holding something back. If I can reveal what she's hiding through an argument, she might be more willing to cooperate. But I need more information about William and his will first. In the meantime, I should figure out what else she knows. So let's take a look.
Something.
Repario Arcanum.
What
The heck?
Faucet, and look at that. It's sword-shaped.
There's a trace of transmutation magic under the bed. I can't see it clearly. Let me take a closer look. It's Crimson Lotus.
What?
It's my sword. What?
I never knew her sword had a name.
So this is where it's been.
But why would it be here? This is also the room where they found the Sword of Spell Eating. Are the two thefts related somehow?
But why? The only thing similar about them is that they're both swords.
There's definitely more to this, but what?
Celeste's sword updated in the court record.
You later found the missing sword was found in Beatrice's bedroom. This was also the room where the Sword of Spell Eating was found after it was stolen. Are these two elements related somehow? Whack, dude.
Holy smoke. I'll talk to her again. Beatrice's
room.
Let's see. Yeah.
I noticed that this room has been cleaned recently. Do you know why?
It's because I've forbidden the servants from cleaning this room.
And why would you do that?
Beatrice is very dear to me, and I couldn't bear to have her room disturbed after she left.
Is.
This room was the only memory I had of her after she left.
I suppose that makes sense. She must have been holding on to the hope that her sister would return. And what about the Sword of Spell Eating? Do you know how it ended up in this room?
I'm not sure. It's possible someone planted it here to frame Beatrice. I can't say why they would choose this room, though.
Okay, let's talk about William Frega. What kind of person was your father? Doesn't look like William Frega was very beloved.
My father was a complicated man. He was a brilliant scholar and businessman, but he was a cold and distant father.
I see. Didn't he have any enemies?
As the head of House Frega, he controlled nearly every banking house in Riverguard. There were many people who resented his wealth and power.
Can you remember anyone specific? Perhaps someone that he'd slighted recently?
There was Lloyd von Sanctus.
The ruling lord of Oranax?
Yes, I heard that he was recently involved in a court case. My father has been using the controversy as an opportunity to slowly take control of von Sanctus Industries. And from what I've heard, He's been extremely bitter about that.
Von Sanctus's reputation must have taken a hit after the Dracogen trials. I doubt he'd get himself involved in another murder. I can never be too sure. I want to speak with him and get more details. Though, would he even consider cooperating with me? Anyways, are there any other enemies he might have had?
No, none that I can think of.
Okay, that's two. Now Beatrice.
What can you tell me about Beatrice Frega? I heard that she fled the Frega estate 5 years ago.
Before she left, Beatrice was one of the most powerful mages I'd ever seen. She is incredible.
Again with the was-is.
At the age of 13, her talent for magic had even eclipsed my father's. But it was never enough for him.
What do you mean?
Before my mother died, he desperately wanted a son, but he only ever had daughters. Everyone thought that Beatrice would inherit House Frega from my father, but our family knew the truth. William Frega would never leave his legacy in the hands of a woman.
Ah.
What? No matter how hard Beatrice tried, my father would never acknowledge her accomplishments. He was extremely cruel to her. He constantly belittled her achievements and dismissed anything she said to him. And after the accident, he used her disability as an excuse to take away the little influence she had.
There was an accident that gave her disability. Is that why she's blind?
Okay, so now I say we move to the sitting room. See we.
The sitting
What?
room?
That can't be right. Just talk Beatrice's return then. See what happens.
Oh.
The accident. Okay.
If it's not too painful for you, could you tell me more about Beatrice's accident?
Is this even relevant to the investigation?
Any small detail could make a difference. I need to learn everything I can.
I'm not sure about exactly what happened, but it was a magical experiment gone wrong. Beatrice was working on a project at the Imperial Academy. She was trying to create a new spell formula. We're still not sure what happened, but there was an adverse magical reaction. The resulting explosion seriously injured her and left her completely blind.
I can't imagine how she must have taken that.
Actually, she was probably the most unfazed by what happened. But that didn't matter. My father saw his opportunity. He told me that he was relieving her of her duties so that she could recover. But I knew the truth. He was going to take away her political power and social standing. She was reduced to a mere decoration for our home.
And that must have been why she left. Did she contact you during the time that she was missing?
No, no one had heard from her during that time. But as much as I was worried for her, I was also a little happy. And like Miriam and I, she had finally broken free from my father. I have no idea what will cause her to turn here.
I think I've learned everything I can for now. Perhaps I should move elsewhere.
Yeah, there should be a sitting room somewhere. Move.
There
Aha,
is.
sitting room.
Well, then why
Move
the
to
heck?
location. You explore the manor further and find one of its many sitting rooms. And there you happen to spot a very familiar face. This douchebag.
This piece of shit.
He's sipping on a glass of wine, and his expression turns disdainful the moment you enter the room. Oh, wonderful. As if my day couldn't have gotten any worse.
Von Sanctus, what are you doing here?
The head of a noble house has just been murdered. I can't spare my return to Oranax when my affairs are in such disarray. Anyways, forget what I'm doing here. What are you doing here?
I just wanted to have a friendly chat with one of my favorite noblemen. I hear that you've been keeping busy since we last met. Must be difficult losing your empire to House Frega.
That struck a nerve.
Tyrion, we do need his help.
Is that so? What makes you think you'd ever help the likes of you?
because it would take suspicion off of you. And let's face it, with your reputation, you could use all the help you can get.
How dare you! I'll have you know that I am still a respected member of the nobility!
Respected? Is that why everyone is talking about your hand in Justin Way's death? Because the way I see it, being involved in another scandal would destroy what little remains of your reputation. Makes no difference to me. To be perfectly honest, I'd like nothing more than to drag you onto the stand and embarrass you a second time.
You could practically hear him grinding his teeth together. Très bien. If it means I won't have to endure your presence any longer, I'll oblige and answer your questions.
All right, Von Sanctus's motive.
Honestly, it's just one mess after another with you.
Mess? Wouldn't you have much to gain from William Frega's death?
On a surface level, you might be right, but it's far more complicated than that. House Frega controls the banking houses. They are the main pillar of support for Riverguard's economy. William's death could have unimaginable economic consequences, regardless of who inherits this house. I wouldn't be foolish enough to do something like that.
That remains to be seen.
Think what you will. There are others who would benefit from William Frega's death.
Like who? The main suspect. You mentioned that other people would benefit from Frega's death. Who specifically?
If I had to venture a guess, I would say Lady Steelwind benefits the most.
Do you mean the prosecutor's father? But you just said that Lord Frega's death could have unimaginable consequences for the economy.
Ha! Do you think that brute cares about Riverguard's economy? No. All that man cares about is power. Pure and physical power. House Steelwind and House Frega have been fighting for control of Riverguard for generations. And in this long-lasting era of peace, the Steelwind's military have become far less valuable to the crown. If it weren't for Lady Steelwind's engagement with the Crown Prince, they might not even be considered a pillar family anymore. The death of William Frega is probably exactly what Lucius Steelwind has been waiting for. And if our economy were to suffer, it would cause civil unrest. In a scenario like that, the crown would have to rely on Steelwind's forces to maintain order.
That does make sense, but could Arya's father really be involved with this? Well, he is a powerful mage. Okay, keep talking to other suspects. It's clear that you think Lucio Steelwind would have much to gain from this. But can you think of anyone else? Well,
there is Harold Harrelson.
That can't be his real name.
but what would Mr. Haraldson possibly gain from Frega's death?
From what I've heard, William is planning to defund the Haraldson Hall of History.
Really? Why would he do that?
I'm not sure of the specifics, but supposedly Lord Haraldson has refused to omit the less flattering parts of Riverguard's history from his exhibits. It's gotten blatant enough that he's drawn the ire of the king himself. They actually got into a very heated argument during the Lord's ball about it. I heard that William declared he would be removing House Haraldson from his estate.
I don't want to suspect Mr. Haraldson, but I need to examine every possibility. As the curator, he would have the easiest access to the sword of spell eating, and he could have staged a robbery to cover his tracks. At the very least, I should give Mr. Haraldson a chance to explain himself. That's interesting. Beatrice Frega. What can you tell me about the defendant in this case?
What? She's your client? Surely you would know her better than I.
Humor me.
Well, I'm sure you're aware that she fled the Frega estates 5 years ago. In doing so, she dealt a blow to House Frega's reputation and directly insulted the Crown Prince by breaking her engagement to him.
Wait, Beatrice was engaged to Esther?
Oui, it was quite the scandal at the time. And Lucia wasted no time in pushing his daughter on to take Beatrice's place.
Oh, is that why those three were so awkward last night?
Honestly, this situation is just an absolute mess. And that's what makes the travel complicates things.
Beatrice's return complicates things? What did he mean by that? The heck is he talking about? Do you find Beatrice's return to be inconvenient for you?
What are you on about now?
Please, don't insult my intelligence, Von Sanctus.
Bien, if you must know, my son was arranged to marry William's daughter, Leif.
Leif?
Since Beatrice showed no signs of returning, it was apparent that Leif would inherit House Frega instead of her. I know my days are numbered, so I took preemptive action. William wanted a male heir, and I needed to preserve my house, so we both came to an accord. My son and Leif were arranged to be wed. House Von Sanctus would have been absorbed, but at least my Jedi would stand at the helm of House Frega.
You nobles are absolutely awful. I should probably consider myself lucky.
Think what you will. I wouldn't expect a commoner to understand. That's the problem with your generation. You have no sense of duty or obligation. Leif has already expressed resistance to this marriage, even though she was well aware of the details. Now I worry she'll hide behind her sister to end the engagement altogether. Leif's engagement has been entered into the court record.
Leif Frega was due to be married to Jaden Von Sanctus. This arranged marriage was facilitated by William Frega and Lloyd Van Sanctus. As part of this diplomatic marriage, House Von Sanctus will be absorbed by House Frega. In return, Jaden would inherit the entirety of House Frega from William. Leif knew how this marriage would affect the future of House Frega. She has expressed resistance to the diplomatic marriage has been stalling for time. Lord Van Sanctus worries that William Frega's death could cancel the marriage altogether. Leif never mentioned any of this. As much as I hate to think it, William's death would get her out of this arranged marriage. Should talk to her about this. Anyways, Von Sanctus gave me a decent list of suspects. I've probably learned everything I can from him for now. Be best to move and follow up on these leads. Let's go back to her room. Because...
You got some explaining to do.
Okay, how can I complete her psychological profile, though?
Not yet. You gotta go back. You gotta present something. You gotta present Beatrice's blindness. Okay. His blindness. Beatrice Frega is completely blind.
Even after being blinded, Beatrice continued to fight for her freedom. Despite everything that's happened to her, she's always remained determined to live her life on her own terms. I remember when she first came back to the estate after her accident, my father was convinced that she'd be completely helpless without her sight. But she refused to let her blindness define her. She learned how to navigate the estate using her other senses and continued to study magic.
Oh, so she knows her way around the place.
It's ironic, really. My father tried to use her disability as a way to control her, but in the end, it was the very thing that allowed her to break free.
Now what?
And now present the story. Her story.
Yeah.
Says Beatrice Frega fled from her family 5 years ago, went into hiding until the night of the murder. Many of her friends and family members hadn't seen or heard from her.
I'm sure Beatrice's return must have been surprising for you.
It is. To be honest, I've been hoping for years that she'd finally return. But now that she has, she's just gotten pulled into another one of our family's messes.
Lady Frega's psychological profile is complete.
All
now
right.
you can start an argument.
What was William doing? Leia Frega seems to be hiding what her father was doing in his study. I doubt that she's doing I doubt she's doing this out of malice. She might not even think that it's relevant to the case. But William Frega had many enemies, and he retreated into his study to do something that night. And that something could be related to why he was murdered.
Start that argument.
Let's dance.
Get down. Get down the book.
Is there?
Check her
Okay,
psychological info. Let me read that.
you just met Leia Frega today, and she has no reason to trust you. She believes in Beatrice's innocence over everything else. She's usually sincere, so it's unlikely that she's actually involved in her father's murder. She might react well if you respond with a similar sincerity. Is there something you're not telling us, Leia? Because I have a feeling that you know more than you're letting on.
What?
What was your father doing in his study?
I already told you, I don't know. I have no idea what my father was doing. My father was a private man. He wouldn't share something like that with me.
What about Leif's test? What about her testimony?
Was it either her testimony or the engagement?
Her testimony, yes. After his meeting with Beatrice Frega, William Frega,
Yeah, through Leif's thoughts, you know that he entered the study to make some sort of adjustment to his will. He was making some sort of change to his will, wasn't he?
What? Did someone else tell him?
Why did you find the need to hide this from us?
I didn't.
Well, the thoughts I saw earlier seem to disagree with that. We've only just met today, so I understand if you don't trust us. But the Inquisition thinks that Beatrice murdered your father, and they claim that she did so for his inheritance.
That's absolutely absurd.
Regardless, your father's inheritance is a likely motive behind his murder. Many people would have a lot to gain from his death, including you.
Excuse me? I was not involved in this. How could you even think that I'd be capable of something like this?
I didn't mean to imply that you were involved in this, but it's clear that the murderer's motive was to take control of House Frega. I didn't mean to imply that you were involved in this, but it's clear that the murderer's motive was to take control of House Frega. This means that their plan heavily relied on who William Frega was leaving his assets to. So I need to know, Miss Frega, how was your father planning to change his will?
I don't know. I was never aware of the details of my father's will. I've already told you, my father was a secretive man. He didn't share the details of his estate with me.
Alright, well that's not...
Now you're gonna bring up her engagement.
Yeah. Is that really true, though?
What?
I already know about your arranged marriage to Jaden von Sanctus. And I also know that as a part of this deal, Jaden would inherit House Frega instead of you. You definitely knew about this, and you heavily resisted the marriage in an attempt to stall it, which means that you had some idea of how your father's will was arranged. So what aren't you telling me, Miss Frega?
I can't trust you.
What?
You are here on behalf of Crown Prince Asta. The four pillar families and the crown have much to gain from my father's death. How can you assure me that this information won't be used against my family?
So that's why she's been so secretive. Okay.
I'd say appeal. Let's all hover over that. What's that say?
There's nothing I could possibly say to make you trust me. And please understand, I'm only trying to find out who murdered your father. It's either this. I'm an independent agent. I have no stake in this conflict. I was only hired to arrive at the truth. I'm thinking either one, but you said appeal. Let's just try it. Let's roll the dice.
Take that.
There's nothing I could possibly say to make you trust me. But please understand, I'm only trying to find out who murdered your father. And to do that, I need to know everything that he was doing that night. Argument 1. That's checkmate.
I have no reason to trust you. But somehow, I can tell that you're being sincere. Will you really protect Beatrice?
You're about to reassure her that you will, but something in the back of your mind stops you.
I'll get to the truth of what really happened.
Okay, if that's truly what you're planning to do, I'll tell you what I know.
Yeah, she has every reason to be scared of that response. Anyway, what was William doing?
I wasn't trying to be uncooperative, but I didn't know who I could trust.
Considering the circumstances, that's perfectly understandable.
I'm not sure why, but my father was extremely upset that night. According to him, Beatrice had returned and was even more impudent than before.
He must have been angry about something she said during their meeting. Did he tell you what their meeting was about?
He didn't, and I honestly didn't really care. I was just so happy that my sister had finally returned. My father clearly felt the opposite. Before he entered his study, he told me that he would be pruning the family tree. He was going to disinherit my sister and several other members of our family.
He probably started drafting a new will to reflect that decision.
William Frega's inheritance has been entered into the court record.
The murder, Beatrice finally returned her home, arranged to meet with her father, and as planned, Beatrice angered William Frega enough for him to declare that he would be disinheriting her that night. So he didn't do it 5 years ago. That's a glaring contradiction that was brought up by Ms. Ruby Tymora. So, oh boy.
It was updated, by the way.
Yeah, I know. Has anyone found the draft of this will?
No, it was one of the first things I looked for after the investigation began.
The modified will is missing. I doubt that it would even be enforced. He never got a chance to submit it for probate before he died. But I can't discount the possibility that the murderer destroyed it. Did anyone else know about this?
No one. I didn't even tell Lady Steelwind when she was questioning me.
Because it would have given Beatrice a motive to commit the murder. Anyways, thank you, Miss Frega.
Mr. Cuthbert,
Yes?
my sister is not a bad person.
No, I don't think she is.
There's no way that she'd do something like this.
Despite what she says, she seems to have some doubts. She's in good hands. Ruby Tymora is the one defending her in the trial, after all.
I hope so.
Anyways, I think I've learned everything I can from Leif. There's only one last person to speak with. Harold Haroldson.
Yep, let's go to the gallery.
Let's move. Da-da-da-da-da-da! Charge! Ugh, this is a complete mess.
As you enter the gallery, you spot Haroldson inspecting the shattered remnants of a display case. If you recall correctly, the display case that he's looking at once held the sword of spell eating.
Oh, Mr. Cuthbert. I had a feeling I'd be seeing you again. He's working for the Crown Prince. Can he be trusted?
It seems word has spread about your deal with Astor.
Hello again, Mr. Haroldson.
Harold.
Right, Harold. I'm sure you already know that I'm investigating the murder of William Frega, and the prosecution suspects that someone used the sword of spell eating to break into Lord Frega's room. I was wondering if I could ask you some questions about the theft last night.
I'll tell you what I can, but I'm not sure how much help I'll be.
Gotta hydrate.
It's like a cold water.
I'm fine. The artifacts.
I can't believe a museum owns such a powerful magic item. I would have expected the noble houses to take them for themselves.
Well, the nobility of today don't have much use for items such as these. The power of a lord is based on politics rather than magical strength. And a noble wouldn't want to wield the sword of a demon even if the legends are just stories.
A demon?
Oh, right. The sword of spell eating is said to have been forged from a pact between a demon and a mage.
Isn't making a pact with a demon just asking for trouble? You'd definitely betray you the first chance they got.
Well, legends say that demons often drafted blood contracts for this reason. Wait, do you mean like a legally binding contract? The concept is similar, but once you sign a blood contract, both you and the demon are magically compelled to fulfill its terms. It's said that violating its terms will result in instant death for the offender, no matter who it is. So I guess there's some protection. Well, as an attorney, I'm sure you understand that it's possible to exploit and use loopholes in any contract. And according to the legends, demons take great pride in their ability to deceive and corrupt people. Yep, the theft. According to the prosecution, the theft took place during the Lord's Ball. Shouldn't there have been plenty of witnesses in the gallery at that time? That's the strangest thing. Supposedly, the gallery room was completely empty when it happened. What? That can't be right. And honestly, I have no idea how anyone could produce enough magic to shatter the display case anyways.
Were the wards protecting the case that powerful?
They were powerful, but that's not the issue here. It'd be one thing to dispel the wards and remove the glass protecting it, but it's another thing entirely to completely annihilate the abjuration wards and shatter the glass. Doing something like that would require an extremely powerful spell, far more powerful than what would have been needed.
Sword of Spell Eating has been entered into the court, updated in the court record.
On the night of the murder, someone used a powerful spell to completely shatter the magically protected glass that was containing it. It was later found in Beatrice Frega's old room.
So you're saying that the force applied was excessive? Yes, and that's not the worst of it. It's clear that the Sword of Spell Eating wasn't the only item that was stolen.
Hey, those bands, they're missing too.
What? Was another artifact stolen that night?
So first of all, I gotta do this.
Repario Arcanum.
Look at this.
What the?
There are traces of evocation magic on the shattered glass.
Evocation is the school of magic that creates and unleashes raw energy. It's the most primal of the 7 schools of magic. Someone must have used a powerful spell to blast the display case apart.
Ugh.
Right.
Anyway,
Talk to him again.
first of all, let me examine this.
The display case that held the armbands of intellect is empty.
Oh
Of
boy.
course it is.
Yeah.
You mentioned that another item was stolen. Yes, it's extremely concerning. After the Sword of Spell Eating was reported missing, I checked the other exhibits. That's when I discovered that the armbands of intellect had been stolen as well. And unlike the Sword of Spell Eating, we still haven't found the armbands.
You look at the glass case where the armbands used to be. They've been removed, but the glass case is completely intact.
The thief didn't shatter the glass. Exactly. Moreover, the armbands were actually replaced with a very well-made replica. What?
Armbands of Intellect has been updated in the court record.
On the night of the murder, Harold Haraldson discovered that the armbands of intellect were also stolen. The glass case holding the armbands wasn't shattered, and the armbands were replaced with a very convincing replica.
What is going on here? The 2 thefts are completely different from one another. Are they ever related? Or did 2 different thieves coincidentally steal from Harold that night?
Brother, it's Ace Attorney. They're always connected. The thief.
You mentioned that someone would have needed a powerful spell to shatter the display case. Wouldn't that narrow down the list of suspects for the theft? Not everyone attending the ball could cast spells that powerful. Well, according to the Inquisition, Beatrice Frega's magic was powerful enough to have done this. Discounting the fact that she's completely blind? Yes, I'm well aware of that. It doesn't sit quite right with me either. Was there anyone else at the Lord's Ball capable of matching Beatrice's power? Only the heads of the 4 pillars could have invoked magic this powerful. But apparently, Beatrice is an exception to that. Is Beatrice really that powerful? Or is she being scapegoated by one of the house leaders?
be open normally, can't they? Otherwise, how would you transport the artifacts from place to place?
Yes, the magical locks in this case can be disabled.
You detect some fear. Is he hiding something?
How are they normally disabled? They can be turned on and off using a spoken password. And how many people know this password? Only myself. I personally oversee the transport of these items when they're moved.
Health and security has been updated in the court record.
The spells that guard the displays can be temporarily disabled using a spoken password. Harold Haraldson is supposedly the only person who knows this password. So Harold could have stolen the sword that night. Could he have staged the robbery to cover his tracks?
Talk to him.
Defunding the Hall of History. Harold, a witness told us that you got into an argument with William Frega on the night of the murder. Was William Frega planning on defunding the Haraldson Hall of History?
Yes, he was. He made that very clear. But that doesn't mean that I had anything to do with his murder.
We're not saying that you did, but I need to explore every possibility. So I need to ask, did your argument that night turn hostile?
I'll admit that our discussion turned heated, but it never escalated to threats or violence. With how insulting it was, it should have. William was being unreasonable, and I was frustrated. That's all there was to it. He deserved what happened to him.
Yeah, he shows more resentment than he's letting on.
Did you have any conflicts with him prior to that night?
We have had disagreements in the past. He was receiving pressure from the royal family about what I was displaying in my museum. The king believed that some of my exhibits were too controversial for the public eye.
What do you mean?
I'm sure you've noticed the rising tensions between the common folk and the nobility. I've never been one to shy away from the bloodier parts of Wivengard's history. The citizens must know about these parts of history, otherwise we're liable to repeat them. However, the king believed that my historical exhibits did nothing but dig up old wounds. Nothing but simpletons, a lot of them.
The nobility thinks they can smooth public relations by censoring history. As if they couldn't get any worse. Anyways, it's clear that Harold is passionate about his work. Would that passion drive him far enough to commit murder, though? Thank you for your time, Harold.
Harold?
I think we'll be on our way now. I wonder if Harold is a Q word for something. That's weird. Anyway.
We have a lot of info, but none of it really leads anywhere.
So many people had a motive to murder William Frega, but who actually did it? Perhaps I should take some time to review everything that I've learned. Motives aside, let's go over the events that happened that night. It all started when the Sword of Spell Eating was stolen. What do we know about the thief of the Sword of Spell Eating? We don't have a specific suspect, but we do know something about them. The thief is a powerful mage.
It would be one thing to dispel the wards and remove the glass protecting it, but that's another thing entirely to completely annihilate the abjuration wards and shatter the glass. Doing something like that would require an extremely powerful spell, far more powerful than what would have been needed.
The thief was a powerful mage. That's the only way that they could have shattered the magically reinforced glass.
But what about Harold? He could have just unlocked it using his password.
He could have stolen the sword and staged a robbery, but he couldn't have shattered the glass. Only a powerful mage could have done that, and I doubt Harold would lie about that when we could easily confirm it with Steelwind.
Right. But then what happened next?
They brazenly stole the Sword of Spell Eating. This caused Harold to report the thief to the King's Guard.
After Lord Harrelson reported the theft, the Inquisition discreetly placed the manor on lockdown. They searched every room in the manor to try to find it. But it was eventually found in Beatrice's bedroom.
And that led them to believe that she had stolen it.
That's correct. The King's Guard moved to arrest her, but Prince Asta ordered them to step down.
And then there's Leif's statement.
My father was extremely upset about something. I think Beatrice may have offended him during their meeting. The servant said that he wanted to be left alone. He retreated into his study immediately after the meeting. I tried to speak with him when the theft was reported, but he didn't much care about the missing artifact. Just before they activated the lockdown, it was a little after 1 a.m. that night.
What does this tell us about William Frega? Leif's account gives us a clear fact about when William died. Okay.
I'd say William
planted
died.
this. Died.
After the lockdown activated.
William Frega was murdered after the lockdown was activated.
This means that whoever killed him bypassed the lockdown and broke into the magically locked room. He had to have used the sword, right?
That's likely, but not necessarily true. An anti-magic field would have also had the same effect. The murderer could have stolen a sword of spell eating to throw off the investigation.
An anti-magic field is a high-level spell. Not many mages would be able to cast it.
And I doubt any of the nobles here will let us see their spell compendiums. But because of how powerful anti-magic field is, we can still conclude that the murderer is a powerful mage. This actually narrows down our list of suspects.
It's still not concrete evidence, though. And we haven't even spoken to all the suspects yet.
Right. You didn't get a chance to speak.
Right, I never got a chance to speak with Lucio Steelwind, but given his status, I wonder if that would even be possible. Either way, it's a good start, and it's not as if we're defending this case. The trial is getting close anyways. I don't doubt Miss Tymora's abilities, but I should share what I've learned with her before the trial begins. A little strange that I haven't seen her since the investigation began. She might be meeting with Beatrice at the dungeon. Okay, now we're going to the last little bit, beforehand.
Yeah, the Inquisition dungeon. You arrive at the dungeon and search for Miss Tymora. She wasn't at the crime scene, so she must be here to discuss the case of Beatrice. Or at least that's what you thought, but you don't see her anywhere.
Oh, Mr. Cuthbert?
Oh, hi.
You were so caught up in your thoughts, you didn't notice that you were walking right in front of Beatrice's cell.
I didn't expect to see you here.
Ugh, what the hell are you doing here?
That crazy critch.
Ah!
So let's let out a shriek as Eris approaches you two from behind. For a split second, you see her high hand dart towards her sword. It appears that she still hasn't gotten over her instinctual fear of Eris.
Eris? What are you doing here?
Ah, Beatrice is actually an acquaintance of my father. He sent me here to help her through this ordeal.
That brings up many more questions. I don't really have time to pull on that thread. I have less than an hour before the trial begins. I need to find Miss Tymora. Have either of you seen Miss Tymora? I have some things to share with her.
She was just here, but she left to retrieve some documents from her office.
Do you have any idea when she'll be back?
She didn't say, but if your discussion has something to do with the case, I could pass a message on to her.
You feel a little hesitant for some reason, but it is her life on the line. If anyone should know about what you found out during your investigation, it's her.
Okay, let me tell you what I know.
You spend some time going through your findings with Beatrice, from your list of suspects to the possible motives behind the murder. You notice that with each revelation, she becomes more uneasy. The idea of someone framing her must be stressing her out.
I see. You've certainly been very thorough.
Yes, but I still have no concrete evidence that points to anyone.
We underestimated him. If he reveals these findings to Prince Asta, he might suspect something.
What the hell does that mean? What?
Sorry, I was just deep in thought.
And I was able to catch one of those thoughts. Beatrice, I'm sure you're aware that Prince Asta has your best interests at heart.
I know. Even though we haven't spoken for the last 5 years, I still consider him a dear friend.
Then I suppose you have no issue with me sharing these findings with him.
Of course not. This is bad. Even he wouldn't support us if he knew that I was involved.
Wait, what was that? Her thoughts just said that she was involved. Did she actually murder her father?
Is something wrong, Mr. Cuthbert? You look a little pale.
Maybe she didn't kill him, but she was definitely involved in his death.
Beatrice was actually behind this.
Girl voice.
Beatrice was actually behind this? But how? She's completely blind. She couldn't have navigated through the manor and avoided the guards. No, I must be taking her thoughts out of context. That's it.
Mr. Cuthbert, perhaps you should get some rest. You look dreadfully tired.
You think very carefully about what to say next. There's one way to get a certain answer through the eye, but if you're wrong...
Beatrice, you weren't actually involved in this, were you?
Tyrion!
You see her gaze narrow in response to your question. Once again, she claps her hands together. She's clearly trying to stay calm.
Do you suspect me now, Mr. Cuthbert?
You didn't answer my question, Beatrice.
As if I'd even need to justify it with a response. But no, Mr. Cuthbert. I was not responsible for my father's murder. At least not directly. I was technically an accomplice.
An accomplice? Did she work together with someone?
Cuthbert!
Miss Tymora!
Your mentor seems to have sensed the mood in the air. She raises an eyebrow at you.
Miss Tymora, can I speak with you alone for a second?
Okay. What's wrong? Is everything okay?
Miss Tymora, Beatrice, she actually did murder William Frega.
Miss Tymora Miss Timora's gaze narrows. Her eyes dart around the room to make sure the guards didn't overhear you. What are you talking about? How could you possibly know that?
I used the Eye of Horus on her. She conspired with someone else to orchestrate William Frega's death.
Have you told anyone else about this?
No, it's not as if they believe me anyways. You're the only other person who knows about my abilities.
Okay, just stay quiet about this for the time being. Anyways, I need to get ready. The trial starts in half an hour.
What? You're not seriously going to defend her, are you?
Of course I am. I'm her attorney.
But she's guilty. I saw it.
Look, at this point, I don't know what you saw. Do you think I can just abandon a client minutes before trial?
No, but...
It's not for either of us to decide who's guilty and who's not. Everyone has a right to an attorney. Our court system needs a defense attorney and a prosecutor to keep things fair. More importantly, you had no right to use the Eye of Horus on my client without my permission.
What? But...
I don't have time to argue about this. We will be talking about this later. Before you have a chance to respond, Miss Tymora walks away. Celeste sees both of you and awkwardly approaches you.
Hey, Tyrion. Is everything okay?
Celeste, I think Beatrice was actually behind this.
What?
I don't blame her
for not.
I don't blame her for not believing me. It's not as if I can tell her about the Eye of Horus. Though, why haven't I told her?
All right, I believe you.
What?
You wouldn't say something like that if you weren't sure, right? But if what you're saying is true, what do we do now?
You think long and hard for a moment.
I don't think we need to do anything.
What?
Steelwind is handling the prosecution, and she's definitely no pushover. If Beatrice is truly guilty, I'll just have to trust her to get the job done. Either way, I don't think we're in any position to get involved.
All right, if you say so.
It's really none of my business.
Yep. You have no stake in this. You're not obligated to do anything. You've done everything you can. It's in their hands now. It's none of your business. This isn't your fight. William Frega was a tyrant and a bigot anyway. He's a noble who did nothing but steal wealth from the common folk. The world is better off without him, and it's not as if you didn't try. All you have to do is wait for the trial to run its course.
Objection! Objection! Your Honor, I'm afraid you can't pass a verdict just yet. Mr. Cuthbert.
Cuthbert, what the hell are you doing?
I don't know. But what I do know is that there was a massive contradiction in Miriam Frega's testimony. Who was I kidding? As if I was ever the type of person to stand by and do nothing. I would love to save my progress.
Because you never know. And we gotta go.
Yes, sir. I got to go. So,
Yeah,
all right. So, yeah, it's well past midnight. It's well past 2.5 hours. But I'll tell you what, this is juicy. I cannot wait to see where we go from here. So, just tune in next week. That's all we ask you to do. And so until next Sunday.
Before you continue, keep your eyes peeled for what I'm about to do tomorrow for Nostalgic Monday. Please let there be Donkey Kong 64.
Well, let's see. Well, we'll find out. So until then, I'm the Cannonball Alex Steele.
I am the Package Andrew Steele.
We are the Steele Brothers. And we are for real. Top guys out. Ciao.
Adios, muchacho.